A whole country forced to leave their homes and 20,000 kids caught in the middle. The sight of families hastily packing their belongings, clutching their children tightly, and fleeing their homes is heart-wrenching. These children, who should be playing and learning, are instead thrown into a world of chaos and uncertainty, their laughter replaced by tears, their sense of security shattered. The world watched in horror as Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. The invasion was swift and brutal, with tanks rolling in and explosions lighting up the skies. The once peaceful cities turned into war zones overnight, and the lives of millions were changed forever. The international community was stunned, and the images of destruction and despair flooded the news channels. This wasn't just a fight between countries. It was an attack on everything that made Ukraine what it was: the cultural landmarks, the historical sites, and the very essence of Ukrainian identity were under siege. The destruction was not just physical, but also emotional, as the people of Ukraine saw their heritage being torn apart. The Ukrainian flag, a symbol of hope and resilience, stood amidst the rubble, a testament to the spirit of the nation. Families were torn apart, cities were destroyed, and a whole generation of kids saw life changing before their eyes. The trauma of witnessing their homes being bombed, their loved ones being injured or killed, and the constant fear of the next attack left deep scars. These children, who should be dreaming of their future, are now haunted by nightmares of their past. The separation from their families added to their anguish, as many were left wondering if they would ever see their parents or siblings again. We all remember the pictures: scared kids hiding in bomb shelters, running from their homes with only the clothes they were wearing. The bomb shelters, meant to be a place of safety, became a prison of fear. The children, huddled together, clung to each other for comfort, their eyes wide with terror. The sound of explosions and the sight of destruction became their new reality. The innocence of childhood was replaced by the harshness of survival. Their eyes show the pain of losing everything and having to leave. The sadness in their eyes is a silent cry for help, a plea for a return to normalcy as they look out of train windows, leaving behind everything they know. The weight of their loss is palpable. The few belongings they clutch are a stark reminder of the life they once had, now reduced to memories. The journey to safety is fraught with uncertainty, and the future remains a daunting unknown. Besides the danger of bombs and having to run away, the war has hurt Ukrainian kids in a deep and lasting way. The destruction of schools means that their education has been disrupted, and the refugee camps, though a place of refuge, are not conducive to learning. The psychological impact of the war is profound, with many children experiencing anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The war has stolen their childhood, leaving them to grapple with emotions far beyond their years. Thousands have lost their parents or been separated from their families. The orphanages are filled with children who have no idea if their parents are alive or dead. The search for missing family members is a painful and often fruitless endeavor. The rare moments of reunion are bittersweet, as the joy of finding a loved one is tempered by the grief of what has been lost. The emotional toll on these children is immense, and the scars of separation will take a lifetime to heal. Their schooling has stopped, and their childhoods have been taken away. The empty classrooms and abandoned school buildings are a stark reminder of the disruption caused by the war. Makeshift schools in refugee camps try to provide some semblance of normalcy, but the quality of education is compromised. The children, once eager to learn and play, now face a future filled with uncertainty. The loss of education is a loss of opportunity, and the impact will be felt for generations to come. The emotional damage is huge, and it will affect their mental health and well-being for a long time. Trauma counseling and therapy sessions are crucial in helping these children cope with their experiences. Art therapy, where kids draw scenes from the war, is a way for them to express their feelings and begin the healing process. However, the road to recovery is long, and the emotional scars will remain. The support they receive now will shape their ability to rebuild their lives in the future. This war has created a giant crisis, leaving a whole generation dealing with the trauma of war. The refugee camps, though a place of safety, are filled with children who carry the weight of their experiences. The melancholic expressions on their faces tell a story of loss and longing, even in play. The war is ever present, with toys and games reflecting the conflict they have witnessed. The psychological impact of the war is profound, and the need for ongoing support is critical. People all over the world have helped, giving aid and shelter to millions of Ukrainians who had to leave their homes. The outpouring of support from the international community has been heartening. Aid workers are volunteers, and organizations have come together to provide food, shelter, and medical care. Donations have poured in, and refugee assistance centers have been set up to help those in need. The global response has been a beacon of hope in a time of darkness, but there's still so much need, and the pain from this war will last for many years. The long lines at refugee aid stations are a testament to the ongoing crisis. The emotional support for Ukrainian children is crucial. But the resources are stretched thin. The relief efforts must continue, and the world must not forget the plight of these children. The road to recovery is long, and the scars of war will take time to heal. We can't forget about the Ukrainian children. Their resilience and hope in the face of adversity are inspiring. The sight of children holding Ukrainian flags, their faces filled with determination, is a powerful reminder of their strength. They are the future of Ukraine, and their well-being is crucial to the nation's recovery. Protective care and support are essential in helping them rebuild their lives. They need our sympathy. But they also need our strong promise to protect them and help them heal. The volunteers comforting Ukrainian children, the safe spaces created for them to play, and the smiles on their faces are a testament to the power of compassion. But sympathy alone is not enough. We must commit to providing the resources and support they need to heal and thrive. The future of these children depends on our collective efforts to ensure their safety and well-being. 20,000 stolen childhoods, a lost generation. These words echo through the hearts of many, resonating with a deep sense of loss and despair. Imagine the laughter of children replaced by silence, their playful spirits crushed under the weight of uncertainty and fear. These are not just numbers, they are young lives, each with dreams, hopes, and a future that now seems bleak and uncertain. Ukrainian children being forced to go to Russia isn't just something that happened because of the war. It's something Russia is doing on purpose, something that reminds us of other terrible times in history. The echoes of past atrocities reverberate through these actions, drawing chilling parallels to the forced deportations and separations that have scarred human history. This deliberate act of uprooting children from their homeland is a calculated move, aimed at erasing their identity and breaking their spirit. The number is huge. More than 20,000 kids, according to the Ukrainian government, have been taken from their country. This staggering figure is not just a statistic, it represents a massive humanitarian crisis. Each child taken is a story of heartbreak, a family torn apart, and a community left in anguish. The scale of this tragedy is almost unimaginable, yet it is the harsh reality faced by thousands of Ukrainian families. These kids, from little ones to teenagers, have been separated from their families, their culture, and who they are. The emotional toll of such separation is profound, leaving scars that may never heal. Imagine the confusion and fear of a child torn from the familiar embrace of their parents, thrust into an unknown world where everything is foreign. Their classrooms, once filled with laughter and learning, now stand empty, a stark reminder of the lives disrupted. They are the missing faces of this war, and we don't know what will happen to them. Their absence is felt deeply, not just by their families, but by entire communities. Playgrounds that once echoed with their laughter now lie silent, a haunting reminder of the innocence lost. The uncertainty surrounding their fate adds to the collective grief, as each day brings more questions than answers. This is a really big problem. The international community is grappling with the enormity of this crisis as governments and activists alike raise their voices in protest. The sight of children in refugee camps, lost and bewildered, underscores the urgent need for action. These young lives hang in the balance, and the world must come together to address this humanitarian catastrophe. Besides the pain of being separated and having to leave, these kids don't know what their future will be like in a strange country. The uncertainty of their situation is a heavy burden for such young shoulders to bear. They are thrust into environments where they don't understand the language, the customs, or the people around them. The emotional and psychological impact of such displacement is profound, leaving them feeling isolated and vulnerable. They could be hurt, taken advantage of, or forced to become Russian. The risks they face are numerous and severe. In crowded orphanages, they may be subjected to neglect or abuse. In harsh conditions, they might be forced into labor or other exploitative situations. The systematic effort to strip them of their Ukrainian identity and indoctrinate them into Russian culture is a violation of their fundamental rights. Their Ukrainian identity is in danger because they are being forced to speak Russian, follow Russian customs, and even believe in Russian religion. This cultural assimilation is a deliberate attempt to erase their heritage and reshape their identities. The loss of their native language, traditions, and beliefs is a profound tragedy, not just for the children, but for the entire Ukrainian nation. It is an assault on their very essence, a bid to rewrite their history and future. Trying to erase Ukrainian culture like this is wrong, and a terrible loss for a whole generation. The destruction of cultural symbols and the forced assimilation of children are acts of cultural genocide. They aim to obliterate the rich heritage of Ukraine, leaving a void where once there was vibrant cultural expression. This loss is not just felt by the current generation, but will echo through the ages, affecting the identity and pride of future generations.
Countries all over the world have said that this is a war crime, that it breaks the Geneva Conventions, and that it might even be genocide. The international community has recognized the gravity of these actions, condemning them in the strongest terms. The forced deportation and assimilation of children are clear violations of international law, and there is a growing call for accountability. The world cannot stand by and allow such atrocities to go unpunished. The United Nations has asked for an investigation and for Russia to let people see the children who were taken. This call for transparency and accountability is crucial. The world needs to know the fate of these children, and those responsible must be held to account. The investigation is a step towards justice, but it is also a plea for the safe return of these young lives to their families and homeland. The world is watching, and the people who did this must be held responsible. The global community is united in its demand for justice. The plight of these children has captured the world's attention, and there is a collective resolve to ensure that those who perpetrated these crimes are brought to justice. The eyes of the world are on this issue, and the pressure for accountability is mounting. But besides the laws, we have to do something because it's the right thing to do. Beyond the legal frameworks and international conventions, there is a moral imperative to act. The suffering of these children calls for a compassionate response, a collective effort to bring them back to safety and restore their stolen childhoods. It is a call to our shared humanity, urging us to stand up for what is right and just. These aren't just numbers, they are sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, whose lives have been ruined by things they couldn't control. Each child taken is a personal tragedy, a story of a family left in despair. The pain of their absence is a wound that cuts deep, affecting not just their immediate families, but the broader community. These children are more than statistics. They are beloved members of their families, whose absence leaves an irreplaceable void. Their stories need to be told, their voices need to be heard, and they need to be able to come home. The world must listen to their stories, amplify their voices, and work tirelessly to reunite them with their families. These children deserve to grow up in the safety and love of their homes, free from the fear and trauma of war. Their resilience and courage in the face of such adversity are a testament to the human spirit, and their return home is a cause that must unite us all.
Gone without a trace, stories of sadness and pain. These are not just statistics, they are the heart-wrenching tales of families who have lost their loved ones, children who have been torn from their homes, and communities that have been shattered. Each number represents a face, a name, a story that deserves to be told and remembered. Behind these big numbers are real people, families torn apart, and kids who have had their childhoods taken away. The pain is palpable, the grief is overwhelming, and the sense of loss is immeasurable. These families are not just statistics, they are human beings with dreams, hopes, and aspirations that have been cruelly interrupted. These aren't just numbers, these are stories of loss, pain, and the hope of seeing each other again. Every photograph, every piece of memorabilia, every tear shed is a testament to the enduring human spirit and the unbreakable bonds of family. The hope of reunion keeps these families going, even in the darkest of times.
Think about Anya, a 10-year-old girl from Mariupol. Her story is one of many, but it is a poignant reminder of the innocence lost in the chaos of war. Anya loved playing in the park, drawing pictures of her family, and dreaming of becoming a teacher one day. Her family was separated when the city was attacked. The suddenness of the attack left them with no time to say goodbye, no time to hold each other one last time. The chaos and confusion were overwhelming, and in the blink of an eye, Anya found herself alone and scared. Anya and hundreds of other kids were put on buses and sent to Russia, away from her parents. The journey was long and filled with uncertainty. The children, confused and frightened, clung to each other for comfort, not knowing what awaited them at the end of the road. For months, no one knew where she was. Her parents, desperate and heartbroken, searched tirelessly, showing her photo to anyone who would listen, hoping against hope that someone had seen their little girl. Her parents, going through every parent's worst nightmare, looked everywhere for her, hoping they would see their daughter again. They visited police stations, hospitals, and shelters, clinging to the hope that Anya would be found safe and sound.
Or think about the Petrovs. Their story is equally heart-wrenching and serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. Their two young sons, 6 and 8 years old, were taken from a hospital in Kherson when the Russians were there. The boys were receiving treatment for minor injuries, and their parents never imagined that a place of healing would become a place of separation. The boys, separated from their parents and each other, were told they were going to summer camp. The promise of fun and games was a cruel deception, masking the reality of their situation. But they ended up in an orphanage far away, where people tried to make them forget they were Ukrainian. The boys, confused and scared, were thrust into an environment where their identity was under constant threat. Their parents are heartbroken and are doing everything they can to bring their boys home. They navigate a labyrinth of bureaucracy, facing countless obstacles, but their determination never wavers. It's very difficult, and they don't know what will happen to their children. The uncertainty is a heavy burden, and every day without their sons feels like an eternity. These stories are sadly not the only ones. Each photo on the wall, each poster represents a child who is missed, a family that is incomplete. They show the heartbreak of thousands of Ukrainian families who have been separated from their children. The pain is a constant companion, a reminder of what has been lost. These families feel the pain of their children being gone every day, and they desperately hope to be together again. The empty beds, the silent rooms, the absence of laughter are daily reminders of their loss. Their stories show how much this war has hurt people, the invisible scars that will stay long after the fighting stops. The emotional wounds are deep, and the road to healing will be long and arduous, but amidst the pain there is also resilience, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit.